Welcome to our deep dive into the world of InstructLab and their latest release, version 0.21. If you're looking to, customize and train your own AI models, but
Yeah,
maybe felt intimidated by the process in the past. Well, you're in for a treat today.
absolutely. InstructLab is an open source project from Red Hat that's all about making model fine-tuning easier and more accessible.
Hmm.
In this deep dive, we'll be unpacking the top 5 features highlighted by InstructLab community members in a recent YouTube video. And trust me, some of these advancements are truly groundbreaking, even for those who
Eh,
aren't hardcore techies.
Okay, I'm already intrigued. So let's jump right in. The first big change is the introduction of Granite as the new default model. Can you tell us more about why this is such a big deal?
Well, Granite is a 7 billion parameter model developed in collaboration with IBM. And it's a game changer for a couple of reasons. First, it's open source under the Apache 2.0 license, meaning anyone can inspect the code, contribute to its development, and even use it commercially. This transparency and community involvement can lead to faster innovation and a more robust and reliable AI model.
That's really interesting. So it's not just about having access to the model, but also about being able to understand how it works and contribute to its improvement. I'm sensing a theme of democratizing AI here.
Exactly. And the second reason Granite is so exciting is its connection to InstructLab's taxonomy. You can think of the taxonomy as a vast library of knowledge and tasks that the model learns from. With Granite, any contributions made to this taxonomy will directly influence the model's evolution. That means users have a direct hand in shaping how this powerful AI tool develops.
Wow, that's pretty remarkable. So it sounds like Granite is both powerful
Right.
and incredibly accessible. How easy is it to actually get started with it?
It's surprisingly simple. Just use the command ilab download, and you'll have Granite ready to go on your system. It even comes pre-optimized for efficiency.
Hold on. Optimized. The video mentions something about the downloaded model being quantized and in the G format. Could you break that down for us? What does that actually mean for someone using the model?
Great question. Imagine you have a high-resolution photograph. It contains a ton of detail, but also takes up a lot of space. Quantization is kind of like compressing that photograph. It reduces the file size without sacrificing too much detail. In the case of Granite, this means it can run efficiently, even on machines with less powerful hardware.
Ah, that makes sense. So it's like they've streamlined the model to make it more accessible to a wider range of users.
Precisely. And the G format refers to a specific technique used for quantization. But the
Yeah.
key takeaway is that you get a model that's both powerful and efficient.
Fantastic. Okay, so we've got this new open source model, Granite, that's easy to download and optimized for performance. What's next on the list of exciting features?
Let's talk about tokens. Now, this might sound a bit technical, but it's actually a very intuitive concept.
Yeah, I'm all ears. Let's see if you can demystify tokens for us.
Think of it this way. When you train an AI model, you're essentially feeding it a huge amount of text data. Each word or punctuation mark in that data is considered a token. InstructLab now allows you to control the maximum number of tokens used during training, which directly impacts the size of the data set and the speed of the training process.
So if I'm working on a less powerful machine, could I intentionally lower the number of tokens to speed things up?
You absolutely could. With version 0.21, the default is set to 4596 tokens, which strikes a good balance for most users. However, you can customize this setting to fit your needs. For instance, someone working on a laptop with limited resources might choose to lower the token count to 500, resulting in faster training and a smaller data set.
That's amazing. It really seems like InstructLab is all about putting the user in control and making AI customization accessible to everyone.
Absolutely. And speaking of accessibility, that brings us to our next big feature, RAM requirements.
Ooh, this is something I've always struggled with. When trying to experiment with AI, my computer doesn't exactly have top-of-the-line specs.
Well, you're in luck. InstructLab v0.21 has been optimized to run the full training pipeline on systems with as little as 16 GB of RAM. This means you can now fine-tune powerful AI models on a much wider range of devices, including those without a ton of memory.
That's a game changer. Does that mean I can finally start experimenting with InstructLab on my own laptop without it crashing every 5 minutes?
You got it. For Mac users, this optimization happens automatically. Linux users simply need to use the optimized memory option when running their training.
So to recap, we've got a powerful new open source model, more control over training data with adjustable token limits, and RAM optimization that makes fine-tuning accessible to a wider audience. InstructLab is really raising the bar. What else is there to be excited about in this release?
There's plenty more to get excited about. Remember that temperature setting we mentioned in the YouTube video? That's our next stop on this deep dive.
Oh, yes. The temperature control. It sounds kind of mysterious, but I'm guessing it has something to do with how the AI model responds in the chat interface.
You're exactly right. Imagine you're having a conversation with a model. The temperature setting essentially controls how creative and unpredictable you want its responses to be. A higher temperature closer to 1.0 is like turning up the dial on spontaneity. You'll get more imaginative and surprising outputs.
So it's like choosing between a brainstorming partner who throws out wild ideas and one who sticks to a very structured script.
That's a great analogy. A lower temperature close to 0 will give you more predictable and consistent results. It's like having a very focused and reliable research assistant by your side.
Interesting. So if I'm using InstructLab to help me generate ideas for a creative writing project, I might want to crank that temperature up. But if I'm using it to help me summarize a technical document, I'd probably want to keep things more grounded.
Exactly. And the best part is you can adjust the temperature on the fly. The default is set to 1.0, so you can explore those creative heights right out of the box. But if you need more predictable outputs, simply use the command ilab model chat needy value or tato temperature value.
That's pretty cool. I love how much control InstructLab gives you over the AI's behavior. It feels like a very collaborative experience, not just a one-size-fits-all tool.
I completely agree. And that brings us to what might be the most exciting feature of all, automatic hardware system profiles. This is where InstructLab really starts to feel like magic.
Magic. Okay, now you've really got my attention. Tell me more.
Well, imagine this. InstructLab can now automatically detect your hardware and optimize the entire workflow for your specific setup. That's not just the training phase, but everything from data generation to model deployment.
Wow, that's incredible. So it's like InstructLab has become self-aware and knows how to adapt to its environment, almost like it's tailoring itself to each individual user.
It's a bit like that. These system profiles build upon the existing train profiles, but take it to a whole new level by optimizing the entire process. It means a smoother, more user-friendly experience because users no longer need to manually tweak configurations to get the best performance.
That's a huge relief, especially for someone like me, who's not a coding expert. I spent countless hours trying to figure out the optimal settings for different AI tools, and it can be incredibly frustrating.
I can imagine. But with InstructLab, those days are gone. It does the heavy lifting for you, ensuring that you're getting the most out of your hardware, regardless of its specifications.
So these profiles are basically like personalized blueprints that tell InstructLab how to run most efficiently on my system. Are they something I can access and see, or is it all happening behind the scenes?
They're actually stored as files that you can access if you're curious to see the details. But for most users, it's all seamless and automatic. These profiles feed directly into InstructLab's configuration file, ensuring everything runs smoothly and efficiently.
That's remarkable. You know, as we're talking about all these incredible new features, I'm struck by how much InstructLab is changing the game. When it comes to AI accessibility, it's like they've taken this complex and often intimidating field and made it truly user-friendly.
I couldn't agree more. It's really democratizing AI and empowering individuals to explore and experiment with these powerful tools in ways that were simply not possible before.
Exactly. And that brings us to a really important question. We've talked about the what of InstructLab, but now I'm curious about the why. Why is making AI accessible so important in the first place? What kind of impact could this have on the world?
It's a great question. I think the potential is almost limitless. Imagine a world where anyone, regardless of their technical background, can leverage the power of AI to solve problems, create new things, and push the boundaries of human ingenuity.
You know, we've been talking a lot about the technical features of InstructLab, but I think it's important to remember that technology is ultimately a tool for human expression and innovation. It's not just about the algorithms and the code, it's about what people can do with those tools.
Absolutely. For example, a teacher could use InstructLab to create personalized learning experiences for their students, tailoring the content and pacing to each individual's gigs. Or an artist could collaborate with an AI model to explore new creative avenues, generating unique visuals or composing experimental music.
That's fascinating. It sounds like InstructLab is really bridging the gap between the technical and the creative, making AI accessible to a much wider range of people with diverse interests and goals.
Exactly. And think about the potential for businesses. They could use InstructLab to analyze vast amounts of data, uncover hidden patterns, and make more informed decisions. It could revolutionize everything from marketing and customer service to product development and supply chain management.
Wow. The implications are really quite vast. I'm starting to understand why you called these advancements groundbreaking earlier. It's not just about making AI more user-friendly, it's about unlocking entirely new possibilities for what we can achieve with it.
Precisely. And remember, this is just the beginning. As more people start experimenting with InstructLab and contributing to its open source ecosystem, who knows what incredible applications we'll see emerge in the years to come.
It's truly exciting to think about. One thing that's been on my mind throughout this deep dive is the role of community in all of this. We've talked about Granite being open source and how users can contribute to InstructLab's taxonomy. What kind of impact do you think this collaborative approach will have on the future of AI?
I think it's one of the most crucial aspects of InstructLab's success. By fostering a community of creators, researchers, and enthusiasts, we can ensure that AI development is driven by a diverse range of perspectives and values. This can lead to more inclusive, ethical, and ultimately, more beneficial applications of AI technology.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like the old saying, two heads are better than one. By bringing together people from different backgrounds and disciplines, we can tackle complex challenges and find innovative solutions that might not have been possible working in isolation.
Exactly. And the open source nature of InstructLab ensures that these solutions are accessible to everyone, not just a select few. It's about democratizing access to knowledge and empowering individuals to shape the future of AI in a positive and responsible way.
So to our listener out there, if you've ever been curious about AI, but felt intimidated by the technical complexities or the lack of access to powerful tools, InstructLab is changing the game. It's inviting you to join a vibrant community of innovators and explore the endless possibilities of this transformative technology.
And who knows, maybe you'll be the one to discover the next groundbreaking application of AI that changes the world for the better.
That's a fantastic thought to leave our listeners with. As we wrap up this deep dive into InstructLab v0.21, I'm left feeling incredibly inspired and optimistic about the future of AI. It's clear that we're entering a new era of accessibility and collaboration, and I can't wait to see what incredible things we'll achieve together.
I share your enthusiasm. This is just the beginning of a very exciting journey.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep creating, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI.